Yeah, yes,
Ibrahim,
The chair of the session would tell you that is that you will have to play both roles if that's possible this time. Now we have one backup debater according to Nuran, right, Alada?
yes, we do.
So that backup debater can prepare themselves for the second round to make sure they join Brahim. So they know what the motion is. We'd need to inform them what the motion is. We'd need to tell them what the position is going to be because we already know that Brahim, along with the partner, was going to be, I don't know what position, as opening government or closing government. It's all in the list. So they can generally prepare in that direction. And when this debate is over, we'll connect Brahim and the other person.
Okay. Okay.
So for this one, unfortunately, Brahim, you're going to have to play, you're going to have to be Superman. But for next session, you can just be yourself, hopefully.
So the adjudication will be individually or based on the team?
Well, the adjudication would be based on you playing both roles. So they would adjudicate, they would give you a grade for the first role that you play, and then for the second role that you play. And there'll be two separate marks that they add up. Basically, they will count you twice as two independent people. Okay, sorry about that, Brahim. Things happen this way. Okay.
So everybody, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to go to another room. I hope you have a great debate, and I'll probably see some of you around in the next round.
Yes.
So YMV and British Council and your head adjudicator will be floating around.
Yes.
But have a great debate. And just a reminder that interpretation from English to Arabic is something that you can have in this debate. So of course you need to speak in English and make your arguments in English, but then you can also hear the interpretation Arabic. So enjoy. See you soon.
Okay. Hey, Fatima, can you hear me?
Yes, Danny, I'm here.
Hey, how are you? You good?
I'm good, thank you. How about
Excellent.
you?
Good. So you're going to be chairing the session, and you have the list in front of you of what. So we already have the scenario that I came here to make sure it doesn't happen, which is that Brahim's partner teammate has not shown up. So.
Okay, I'm just a little bit confused because I don't have Ibrahim here as one of the debaters.
No,
You don't.
I'm just right here.
Is it okay? I haven't looked. I haven't checked.
Because this is room 2.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Ibrahim, I can.
Room 2 says Julia, Hajar, Salma, Diana. Oh, yeah, you're right. Come to think of it, I can't find Brahim anywhere.
Exactly.
Brahim?
He's
Okay.
not even in round 1.
Well, maybe because, listen, some people, as I heard from Nuran, some people apologized.
Okay.
So like last minute withdrawals. So possibly Brahim is one of the people who was, thankfully taken in to make sure that the round is complete.
Well, I have a table with. So can I share my screen? Is that possible?
Yes, please. Yeah,
Ibrahim,
I don't know
what team are you?
Opening government.
Okay, so
With
you
who?
are with Noor or Farah?
Noor Momin.
Okay, so you replaced Farah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay, great. So good luck with it all. I'm just moving from one to the other just to make sure everything's well. So all the adjudicators are here? I haven't checked.
Zainab is here. I think we're still missing.
Yes, I'm here.
Carmen.
Okay. Eventually, hopefully it'll work out. If it doesn't work out, again, we do have backup adjudicators. So
Okay.
I'll double check by the time you've, laid the ground rules, etc. If Carmen hasn't joined, we'll make sure someone will join.
All right.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Thank you. Zainab, are you here?
Yeah, here. I just saw your message.
Okay.
Okay, no problem.
All right, thank you. Hello, everybody. It's already time, but I see here that we are still missing some debaters. So please, if you know somebody, can you please contact them to join? If maybe your teammate is not here yet, can you please try to reach them? Hi, Carmen. Can you hear us?
Hi, everyone. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. I just asked everybody to check up on their teammates because I see that we are still missing debaters. So maybe let's give ourselves one more minute and then we start, okay?
Okay, great.
Okay, I just want to say, is the tech support here?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, sorry, I just sent you a message. So I was wondering if you can allow me to share my screen so I can share the timer.
Okay, 1 second. Yes, now you can share your screen.
Okay, can you see it?
Yes, Zinab, we
Yes.
can.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I think we are going to start. Hello, everybody. I hope you are all doing well and you and your families are keeping safe in these tough times. I am Fatima Zahra. I'm going to be the lead adjudicator and also the chair of this session. And along with me in the panel of adjudicators, there is Carmen, Quensa, and Zinab Ramlawi. And we also have our reporters who are Yahya Ishakti and Noor Al-Rayes. Before we start, I want to check with you if all the teams are here and if all the debates are present. So let's start with the opening government. I believe we do have Ibrahim, right?
Yes.
Okay, what position are you in the opening government, Ibrahim?
I'm both Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister.
Okay, Noor is not here yet. Okay, all right, let's go for the opening opposition. Salma and Diana, are you both here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Salma, what's your position exactly?
I'm the first one in the opening of the opposition.
Okay, so you are the leader of opposition. Diana is your
Yes.
deputy, right?
Yes.
Okay, is Diana here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, we can. Thank you. Moving on to the closing government, Gabriela and Emil, are they both here?
I am here.
Hello, Gabriela. Is Emil still missing?
Yes. Yeah, I tried to text him, but he doesn't respond. So I'm worried that he is not.
Okay, and will you be willing to do both roles if Emil doesn't show up?
Of course.
Okay, good. But if not, what role are you usually?
Well, I could be the first one.
Okay. So member of government. All right, last team, Julia and Hajar. Are you both here?
Yes.
Yes, both were here.
Hi, Julia. What
Hi.
position are you?
I'm the member of opposition.
Okay, member of opposition, and the whip is Hajar, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, I'll remind you of the motion again, and the motion that we're going to be debating in this round is this House believes that developed countries should provide financial support to developing countries to preserve the And before we start, we're going to take a couple of minutes just to talk again about the ground rules and to make sure that we all follow them. The very first thing is that for each speaker, you have 5 minutes to speak. And of course, you will hear a sound at the end of your first protected minute and by the beginning of the very last protected minute. And you will also hear a continuous sound when you reach 5 minutes, 20 seconds. And that means that you need to stop immediately. Of course, you are entitled to POIs, and please be reminded that each POI is 15 seconds, and between one POI and another, you have to wait 15 seconds. And the way you take a POI is that you open your mic, you ask for a POI, and you wait for the speaker to either give you the floor or to reject your POI. And for the speakers, please make sure you always answer a POI when it is asked of you, meaning either you take it or you don't take it. Just make sure you voice it out. You also have the right to use points of order, and these are asked of the adjudicators in case you see that the debate rules are being compromised or the rules are being violated. Next thing is after the debate, I will ask you to please leave the room for 15 minutes, just so the adjudicators do their deliberations, and then afterwards you will join for a session of feedback, and then we will announce who's the winner of the debate. I believe I have said all of my remarks, and also please keep yourself muted at all times unless you are speaking. And when it is your turn to speak, please turn on your camera so the adjudicators can see you. I'm now opening the floor. If you have any questions, any concerns, anything that we can address before we start our debate. Or is everything clear? Awesome. I think everything is clear. We still have some 5 minutes until we start the debate. And since there are some people who are missing from the teams, then we will wait for them for about 5 minutes and then we start our debate. Thank you. I believe that it is time and we are going to start. I just wanted to quickly check if you can hear the beep. Can somebody please tell me if, okay,
Yes,
cool.
okay.
All right, awesome.
Excuse me. I have a question. How much before the end of the speech is this going to be the sound?
At the beginning of the last protected minute.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Zainab, can you please share your screen?
Yes, I'm sharing it right now. Few minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Fatima, just one
Mhm.
question.
Yes, Anna.
Thank you. Just to double check that the person missing is Noor.
Yes, we have, just give me a second so I can see the last name, Noor Muman, and also Emil Fakhouri.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you see my screen clearly?
Yes, yes, Zainab,
great.
we can see it. Thank you. All right, then we will start this debate of the first round. And again, the motion is this House believes that developed countries should provide financial support to developing countries to preserve the environment. You have 5 minutes for each speaker. Aware of the beeps. Prime Minister, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, please start.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable adjudicators, honorable members of the opposition team, dear colleagues from the proposition, good evening. No challenge poses a greater threat to the future generations than climate change. This is what Barack Obama once said. Today's motion says that this House believes that developed countries should provide financial support to developing countries to preserve the environment, which is related to SDG number 13. So before digging deeper in the arguments and the reason behind it, we should define this motion to have clear perspective of how we will discuss it. Well, again, this House believes developed countries should provide financial support to developing countries to preserve the environment. We can define developed countries according to Cambridge Dictionary that it is a country with a lot of industrial activity where people generally have high incomes. And developing country, also according to Cambridge Dictionary, is a country with a little industrial and economic activity and where people are generally having low incomes. And the tricky part here is the financial support. Financial support is not just money, can be money as grants, but also can be loans, expertise, and advice, and also can be an investment. So when we say providing this financial support, we're not just talking about loans, we're talking about grants, loans, expertise, and advice, and also investment. And why we are doing that to preserve the environment from awareness campaigns, government support, NGO support, as we said, the types of our supports, creating projects and organizations to help in preserving the environment. Well, our strategy as the opening government will speak about two aspects, the environmental aspect and also the economic aspect. The environmental aspect, let me talk to you about, which we believe that the financial support from developed countries to developing countries is crucial for our environment. Our environment right now is in grave danger at the time of the history. We changed many things without looking at the consequences. Anything happens that affects the environment in any corner of the world affects the whole globe in a way or another. We are all today in the same ship. We are sharing the same home, Earth. So every single day, every single act we do to help other nations to preserve the environment and slowing the climate change is not just helping their own environment. It also helps the world's environment and developed countries' environment, of course. We are in a critical position to cooperate together and help each other because whatever happens, we all get affected by it. And it's not old idea or needs wide imagination to imagine how simple impact in small country can affect the whole globe, because we are now meeting online because just what happened and what started in a city in China called Wuhan, which was not very popular then, but now it's well known worldwide because it was the start of COVID-19, and it affected the whole globe economically, socially, and also behaviorally. So just single part of the world, when something drastically happened there, it affected the whole part of the world. Also, by looking to the number, we realize that we need to act right now. For example, according to the United Nations Development Programme, as of 2017, humans estimated have approximately 1 degree Celsius of global warming pre-industrial levels. Sea levels have risen about 20 centimeters since 1880 and are projected to rise another more 122 centimeters in the next century, 2100, which is not very far. Well, while I'm addressing
Point of information.
Yes, please.
You mentioned that we're all suffering from this climate change and environmental change. What do you think about countries like the US and China that don't believe in climate change?
Well, you can't just say that country don't believe in climate change because administration or single administration or single government don't act about it. Doesn't mean that they don't believe it, and doesn't mean that a nation of 350 million people like the United States, they don't believe in that. Thank you. So also supporting vulnerable regions, according to the United Nations, will directly contribute not only by goal 13, but also to another goals. So through my explanation and through the evidence that I mentioned, I have provided it's clear and obvious that we should act right now, and proposing the motion will be great positive impact on our environment and our next generations, which is primary human right, according to the United Nations, to live in a clean environment. So we conclude that providing this financial support is crucially for our environment based on evidence and reason will be provided. Again, I would like to insist and propose this motion, and I'm in favor of this motion as Prime Minister in this motion. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much to the Prime Minister. Now the floor is for the Leader of the Opposition.
Okay, hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Salma Misbah, and I'm the Leader of the Opposition for today's motion that states that developed countries should provide financial support to developing countries to preserve the environment. And I stand with my team that we are against this motion. First of all, I would like to give a couple of notes on the definition that the Prime Minister have stated. He succeeded in defining developed and developing countries, but the thing that I didn't understand was the financial support. You said loans and advices, and other than that, don't you think that when you said that developing countries are countries that are weak in their technological infrastructure and they're poor and they suffer from a lot of things in their economy, don't you think this is kind of a pressure stating that the financial support could be in the form of a loan, that you are pressuring this country for having extra debts on it? And I think that aiming the financial support to an aid or to support is going to be much more better than a loan, because it doesn't match your definition to a developing country. This is regarding the definition. I would also like to stand by my team that today our strategy is going to be supporting both aspects, economically and politically. And first of all, I would like to say that our point for the financial support is if it wasn't an aid or a loan, that you're pressuring the countries. That's number one. Number two is that the developed countries need this money to fix the things that they already have. So instead of using these billions of money, you could use them to fix the things that you already have in the developed countries, other than giving it to other countries. There is a statistic by the European Union website that in 2018 alone, the European Commission provided 2.7 billion to developing countries to tackle climate adaptation, while disregarding that this money wasn't fully used in the environment preservation. That you are creating a risk of corruption, because it is possible that this foreign financial support doesn't go to the rightful recipient, and it might go to a hand of corrupted political officials. So how could you be 100% sure that this money is used to protect the environment or to preserve it, as our motion of today? And evidence on what I'm saying right now, that there's a study by the British economist and Nobel Prize winner Angus Deaton. It was applied on countries such as India and South Africa, that the international support was a clear cause of generalized corruption, and it had no effect in the development whatsoever regarding economy and environment. So this is my argument for today, and me and my other teammate will talk about more about how it causes problems in the developing countries on the economical and political side. And yeah, sure.
So you believe that to avoid corruption by any means, the best solution is to not provide financial aid at all, right?
No, my point was, if this financial aid is in the form of a loan or a form of a debt, then this is going to cause the corruption. But providing it as an aid or something that you support the other country just for the sake of friendly relationship, this is fine. But your definition of the motion was one of them is a loan. So this is what's going to cause a problem here, because these developing countries already have a pressure on their economical state. That's my answer to your point of information. And to sum everything up, me and my team are totally against this motion and believe that these financial support could cause the developing country, or could affect the developing country in a negative way. Thank you very much.
Thank you to the Leader of Opposition. Now the floor is for the Deputy Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, first of all, I would like to comment with an important points that the Leader of Opposition have mentioned according to the speech of the Prime Minister. She said that loans increase the extra debts, which is against the motion, against my definition, against the Prime Minister's definition, which is not true at all. As we see, countries like developing countries as Egypt, as Turkey, and all of that, and all of these countries are getting a lot of loans right now and they have tremendous amount of growth and GDP. And also, if we look at statistics, we see that the loans percentage of the GDP is actually decreasing because of the GDP growth, not pushing more stress on the government. So it is not right at all, that point that loans that is a barrier in the front of the development. As we see also a country like the United States, the most country in debt in the world, but also the most country have word in the world and have effect in the world, culturally and militarily and economically, the biggest economy in the world. So I also want to comment in a point that in the Leader of Opposition argument that she said that risk of corruption and giving money as loans is making impact and increasing the corruption, which is actually doesn't make sense at all, because you said the financial aid doesn't acquire corruption, which doesn't make sense, because in the case of financial aid, the government knows that she's not payback, so it will be easier to put that money in their pockets. But when it loans image, they can easily be wise with it, because they should pay back with interest. And also, loans have been always a way to increase the economic growth of developing countries. And also, we have seen the European Union putting more money to loans to developing countries during the COVID-19 crisis. So I think it doesn't make any sense at all to say that loans require corruptions. I also mentioned, the Prime Minister also mentioned different types of financial support. Also, I claim and I believe that providing financial support is crucial for the prosperity of the world. The green economy is a term that we hear frequently right now, but according to the United Nations Environment Programme, green economy is defined as low carbon resources efficient and socially inclusive. In a green economy, growth in employment and income are driven by public and private investment into such economic activity, infrastructure, and assets. The timer is not working. And assets that allow the reduced carbon emissions and pollution, enhance energy and resource efficiency, and reduction of loss and biodiversity and eco-services. So financially supporting the developing country through investment, loans, expertise, and advice, and be crucially beneficial for the world economy and by extension developed country economies. So when you help the developing countries, the developed countries will get things back. And also leading developing countries to use their renewable energy and clean resources and using huge market, the developing countries, which is more than 2/3 of the world, the developing population. According to the United Nations Development Program, bold climate could trigger at least $26 trillion in economic benefits by 2013. Also, the energy section alone can provide 18 million jobs by 2030, which is just 10 years from now, focused specifically on sustainable energy. And also some focus indicates that investment in solar energy can return 500% in the next 20 years, which is really promising field to invest in, to put loans in it, or even to just put grants and expertise and advice for these countries. We didn't speak about the jobs in the agriculture industry or the food industry or the water distillation, or that also creates another millions of jobs. So jobs that make trillions of dollars and make unemployment rates go down and down because of support from the developed countries. Finally, I would love to insist and say that I'm in favor and urge people to propose this motion, because this is what should be proposed, this is what should be take and believe in, because for the good in the world and the economy. Thank you.
Thank you to the Deputy Prime Minister. Now moving on to the Deputy Leader of Opposition. The floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Greetings for the debaters of both government and opposition teams and for the adjudicators. I repeat and iterate that we as the opposition team strongly disagree with the motion stating that developed countries should provide financial support for the developing ones, as we depend and rely totally in our position on real arguments and evidences. So now I will start rebutting the arguments said by the Deputy Prime Minister. First, the Deputy Prime Minister mentioned that the supporting financial support to developing countries improve economic growth in these countries. Simply and obviously, developed countries have been providing developing countries with financial support since the 19th century, according to the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, with no significant transitional change almost in the majority of the developing countries. And as for William Easterly, a university professor and researcher at the World Bank, he emphasizes that which quantitative models in his study entitled the white man burdens that bureaucrats and individuals concerned with aid in rich countries have failed to provide any clear quantitative indications of any role for aid in supporting long-term economic growth rates. And I want to, yes?
You said that the financial support didn't change nothing, but actually China was in poverty and hunger. Now it's the fastest growing economy in the world. India is growing so fast, and they are two of the most biggest economy in the world because of the expertise and advice and financial support. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I think that not only the financial support in India which make it developed in that way. And I want to rebuttal what you said, that according to the World Bank Global Financial Development Database, ratio of private credit to GDP, which is a commonly used measure of financial development, has increased steadily since 1960. The credit to GDP ratio has been higher in advanced economies than in emerging and developing economies, and the gap has increased since about 1990. Despite rapid financial sector growth in the advanced economies, GDP per capita growth remained almost unchanged. And now I want to
information.
Yes.
You said the gap is growing, so that's actually a really straightforward reason that why we should support more financial support. Thank you.
Sorry, but I don't get your question. And as an evidence for what I said, William Easterly, a specialist in economic development, a university professor and researcher at the World Bank, joined with Africa House and co-director of NYU's Development Research Institutes, made a study titled Can Foreign Aid Buy Growth, which studies the correlation coefficient between economic growth and aid over a 30-year period in Africa, reveals that the correlation is an inverse relationship. So the greater the aid, the lower the rate of change in growth rates, which is, as my argument. We oppose the motion states because financial support from developed countries to developing countries will affect the growth in the latter on one hand and contributes to strengthening economic and political pressure on the other hand. So how does financial support hinder growth? When the developing countries receive financial support to preserve the environment, there will be less improvement of productivity and local development. And in another study by researchers Arvind Subramanian and Raghuram Rajan entitled Aid and Growth, What Does the Cross-Country Evidence Really Show? It was found that the growth rates of the countries that did not receive the aid were higher in their growth rates than the countries that received the aid, covering a long period from 1960 to 2000. That is, within 40 years, this increased the results and scientific merit. These findings are supported by the Carol Lancaster studies, whose findings titled Foreign Aid, Diplomacy, Domestic Politics make the same conclusion about the futility of aid of economic growth. On the other hand, when developed countries provide the developing countries with financial support, this will give the developed countries the power to control the developing one and ask them for more favors. And this is what most of the countries are suffering from, and what completely abolished the possibility of development of the developing countries. And based on the arguments and evidence we as the opposition team have mentioned, that clearly and logically confirm our position, we repeat that we are strongly opposing what the motion states. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, moving on to the member of the government. The floor is yours.
Okay, so dear devotees of the government and the opposition teams and dear judges, I would like to start with what I think the government has missed during the speeches of the two government representatives that have already made their speeches. Since we have talked a lot about money, we have talked about the economy, and there was a lot of referration to different points of information, but well, I think what we missed was the whole idea of support and the whole idea why we need that. It's because we have the problems with environment, and the main reason why we need the support is not to create jobs, is not to create a connection with other countries and have a good relationship. No, it's to save ourselves. It's to save the world that we have. So the problem is that we are not addressing this issue in this conversation. We see that the developing countries are facing the most problems right now. They are in the worst situation since their infrastructure is not good enough to cope with the problems that we have right now. We observe in India and Africa big amounts of, for example, pollution, big amounts of rubbish that is left, and there is nothing left to do with it. We see people moving to cities since there is a big the drought, the temperature is changing. It impacts the most the center of Earth, which is the place where there is the most developing countries. Also, what is the whole point of this conversation is that the Earth is the good that we share. We share it since it's not the country. No, it's the Earth, and the environment is what we all have, and we all need
information.
Yeah, just go, please.
Yeah, you mentioned that like there's a lot of trash in developing countries. Don't you know that like rich countries put their waste out of sight and they put it in developing countries? Don't you think that this is also an issue that we have to consider?
Yes, of course, and this is the problem. This is the problem that we, yeah, I would like to say about it. So I would just proceed to that information. Yes, I would say that the developed countries owe that to the developing countries. They were developing countries, didn't have the opportunity to be as developed as the developed countries are right now, because they were starting with colonies. After using the resources of the developing countries by the developed countries, of course that happened. So they didn't have opportunity to do it. And now, as the international group, as the governments of all the countries, we just need to help those countries, since it's not just about those countries, it's about all what we have now, all the problems with the environment. So for example, the idea of the first opposition speaker to better spend the money on any other idea to help address the issue of problems with environment, to fight for it in some place in Europe where there are better conditions and no place for corruption.
Lots of information.
Yes. So,
how do you expect from developed countries that put trash in developing countries to help them in that matter? Thank you.
Well, we should start from very basic things, such as, for example, recycling. Well, if we don't recycle anything that is really basic of in helping to fight the environment changes, well, we will have a really it's really harder to fight anything. So if we are not doing it in developing countries, it's so much easier to do it in developing countries than to stop producing those in developed countries. Yeah, so yeah, what I would just like to say is that we need to start from the place that is the most impacted right now by the environmental changes, which are the developing countries. And yes, it's not about just money. It's as the conversation and this debate has been focused on. It's mainly about our lives, because we have around 20 years left before the environmental changes will not be possible to anymore to come back to the normal state. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the member of the government. Now moving on to the member of the opposition. The floor is yours.
Thank you for allowing me to take the floor. I welcome Honorable Prime Minister and members of the government, leader of opposition and members of the opposition. I rise to share my team's beliefs on this debate, whilst sharing our sentiments with the opposition of this House on the disagreement of the motion put forward. We therefore do not agree that the House fully believes that developed countries should provide financial aid to developing countries for the preservation of the environment. We, in fact, disagree with the government's arguments that supporting regions of developing countries always impacts the environment in a good way. How can we speak of developed countries' provision of financial aid for the purpose of environmental preservation when those very countries, such as the United States, deny the existence of environmental issues such as climate change and global warming?
Point of information, please.
Yes.
Are you basing
it was not allowed back then. It was still her protected minute. Please wait and ask again.
Okay, so that would take me to my first argument against this motion. Financial support can be seen as insufficient and useless in countries where it is difficult to change a nation's mindset. Yes, I would take the point of information.
Yeah, what's your resources that the United States doesn't believe in climate change? What government official or president or Congress official that said that?
Sure, I was actually coming to that. We have seen Trump's tweets over and over again. The United States is led.
Information?
Yes.
Are you basing the idea of the policy of United States just because of the presidential tweets on social media?
No, actually, we have heard Donald Trump as the Prime Minister of the United States mentioning time and time again, not only on social media, but also in his speeches. And I will continue to argue my first argument that according to the Global Times, as of 2020, China remains the largest developing country in the world. And this was also shown by the World Bank report. The Global Carbon Project in 2019 stated that China is the largest emitter of carbon dioxide. And here we are talking really about a change in mindset. If China does not change its mindset to stop emitting high amounts of carbon dioxide, 10,357 million metric tons per year they emit. The question here is whether financial aid would really help in such a developing country. And on another note, the United States remains reluctant to take any form of action with regards to climate change. So referring to the POI that was mentioned earlier, no, it is not only evidence from the social media posts of Donald Trump, but we can see it in action. We have seen a great reluctance over the past year. In 2017, Vox issued an article stating that Trump tweeted regarding climate change skepticism that over 115 times, and to this day, Trump. Yes?
So how can you explain the increase in the United States solar panels by 40% in the last 10 years?
Sorry, can you repeat that question? I didn't quite understand it.
I said if you say
Sorry, please move on. You cannot ask for another POI.
Okay. So to this day, as I was saying, Trump still denies climate change and global warming. This would also raise the question whether, as a developed country, the US would still be willing to give financial support on this matter. I move on to my second argument very quickly, which was also mentioned by the opposition, and that foreign aid doesn't always help developing countries. Sometimes it could also disrupt these countries, and this is because the developed countries can have every right intention to help the developing countries, but the developing countries would not have the know-how of how to adequately use this funding. And this can be seen through, as was mentioned before as well, Angus Deaton's studies, where he found that developing countries often decide to save rather than spend. And this can lead to corruption and regression rather than growth. I close by saying that following this debate and such arguments, we still believe that it is better to educate developing countries rather than to give to give financial support. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the member of the opposition. Now the floor is for the government whip.
Good day. Thank you for allowing me to share this floor. To start, we as a team and as a government, we fully believe that developing countries should support financially. Developed countries should support financially developing countries to preserve the environment. And so I will be summarizing the ideas both of my team and the opposition team. And I will be starting by the government team that said that the US is the most corrupt developed country in the world and has the highest debt, but also doesn't believe that global warming exists. So developed countries will be helping developing countries by using renewable energies, and will also providing jobs and making unemployment go down and improve the economic growth. On the other side, with the opposition, they think that this will affect the economic growth on one hand, and on the other hand, in the developing countries will have also political instability because of the help of the developed countries, as they said, because this could be a trap, because this financial and economical help for the developing countries will be in terms of loans. And for the purpose of these countries and the global warming, they think, the opposition, that this help is insufficient and useless. And they also think that to be changing this situation in our world, we really need to change the culture of the people in those countries, to make a step all together to help our environment, because we are sharing this environment in our world, to help it be better, and not to have this climate change and all the reactions that happen with it. And as well as the climate change is one of the greatest challenges we are facing in our humanity today. And we have also all together communities, individuals, to help face it. And I have one point to refute to the opposition team, and they are saying that we have to work on the culture of the people. And I'm saying that this financial support could go through education, and could go to the people to help them educate, to make recycling programs, to make renewable energies. And yes, please.
You are saying here that instead of giving the financial support towards the environment, you give it towards education. Isn't that going against the motion? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. No, it isn't against the motion, because we fully believe that developing countries have to help the developed countries, but in the ways I'm talking about, and the financial, this will make financial growth. And we will have to put this financial help for the cultural education of the people, to make the people aware of what we are facing. And for my point also, I will be we are missing also the ideas of the idea of support, and I will be summarizing at saying that this motion has to be implemented, because we are missing the idea of support, that this support is going to the whole world, not just only for one country. It is an environment that we all share all together. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the government whip. Now moving on to our very last speaker, the opposition whip. The floor is yours.
Hello, honourable members of the jury, dear members of the government, and respectful members of the opposition. Today, we witnessed a very heated debate about a very sensitive topic, a topic that raises all sorts of controversy on the global level, and it is whether or not should developed countries provide financial support to developing countries to preserve the environment. So the two sides of the House strive to defend their opinions from different perspectives. And before I go on to summarize these ideas, I would like to emphasize the position of my team. And this side of the House believes that developed countries should not provide financial support to developing countries. Well, I appreciate the government's attempt to preserve the environment, and I would dare to say that their point of view is somewhat based on what I could say a naive view towards what's happening in real life. You know, like every policy should be based on critical thinking, but I think this is what was missing with all my due respect. So the respectful members of the government have been given a lot of arguments. However, they were missing some points and given some misinformation, as I'm going to elaborate on in my analysis. So the government first started saying that financial support should be loans and grants and expertise, and this was a point of clash between the government and the opposition, as the opposition stated that the loans will be further pressuring developing countries, in which is actually what is happening in real life. And this was clearly supported by arguments and concrete statistics. And also the weakness of the first speaker is that he was generalizing that all countries will be willing to provide financial support. And I'm going to further elaborate on that later on with what the Deputy Prime Minister said. Moving on, I would like to emphasize that even the first speaker of the opposition suggested that supporting countries would be on friendly matters because they believe that we're all suffering from this issue, therefore we should all share this burden. Therefore it shouldn't be on terms of loans, but rather on terms of expertise, changing mentalities, etc. Now moving on to the second speaker of the government, who stated that stating that developed countries could be helped to use renewable energy, while putting into oblivion that developed countries like the US is one of the most countries promoting the use of gases and oil from developing countries. So how do you expect from these countries to be willing to give financial support to preserve the environment, taking into consideration that it was proven that countries such as the US do not actually believe in climate change, which is a very, very serious issue. And also there was some misinformation about China receiving financial support. Granted.
Well, you say that all speeches of the government is naive, but I believe it's naive where to judge the whole people of 350 million as the United States that they don't believe because just some official statements. Also, you said that the country is not ready to support the developing countries. It's not true. The EU and the United States are supporting really generously the Middle East and also a huge part in Asia. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. And stating that the whole country is actually believing in climate change, I do believe that that is true. Thank you for stating that. But here we're talking about governments. We're not talking about the normal people. Of course, the normal people change their own opinions from one state to another, from one part of the world to another. Therefore, here we're judging countries based on the policies that they are making, not just by the opinions of the country. The opinions of the country here are not going to be taken into consideration because the support which will be given by the government, by the policy makers, and not by the actual people. So this is still also a naive point of view. I'm sorry to say that, but yes, I continue to say that there was a misinformation about China receiving financial support. Was granted, I'm sorry, China not receiving financial support, whereas it is the country which is putting US in high debt, as you mentioned previously. So actually, the opposition debunked most of the arguments provided by the government. And also, I really appreciate the fact that the government stated that we're missing the point of reserving the environment and only focusing on the GBD. Therefore, there is some points of clash between the two governments. And I would like to emphasize that even the last speaker, the third member of the opposition, stated that financial support does not always help. And she suggested that we should change the mindset rather than just focusing on financial support. Therefore, I would like to emphasize that this House believes that financial support should not be given to developing countries in order to preserve the environment, but rather there are other methods that could do so. And thank you so much.
Thank you very much to our last speaker, the opposition whip, and also thank you very much to all of the debaters. Now it is time for the deliberation of the adjudication panel. I will kindly ask you to leave this room and please come back in 15 minutes, which is, it would be 4:15 GMT +1 on my side. So 15 minutes and we convene back here. I believe all the debaters have left the room. Carmen and Zainab, are you guys here?
Yes, I'm here. But could I have 1 minute just to finalize the score?
Yes, me too. Please let me know when you have finished so we don't waste time. Guys, are we done?
Yes, for me, I'm done.
Okay, Carmen.
I'm done too.
Okay. Then let's, did you guys multiply by 0.3 and all of that?
Yes.
No, not yet.
Okay. I think, Carmen, you have to do it. You multiply argumentation, refutation, and structure by 0.3 and style by 0.1.
Okay, great. I'm going to do it.
Okay. We only have 5 minutes left, so if we can speed it up a little bit.
Hello, Fatima.
Hi, Danny.
Okay.
Well, we're just... Sorry, I was just saying that we were waiting for Carmen to finish up with her education flowchart, and then we will...
Yeah, no problem. Keep it with you. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So you can keep it with you, just announce the winner. And I think there's not going to be a lot of time for feedback so that we can give them time to prepare for the next one.
Mm-hmm. So we just give the winner and we move on?
Just the one, the winner team, one team, and then keep the forms with you. If you don't do it right now, you can do it later. No problem.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm done then.
Okay, so let's discuss who's the winner in your flowcharts. For me,
sorry. Why are the debaters still here? They need to leave.
No, these are the reporters.
Oh, okay. And the rapporteurs don't need to be here either. They can be here, but they don't need to. I mean, they can just go.
Okay, we are sorry. Thank you very much, Danny.
Yeah. No problem. No problem. All right.
So good luck for our adjudicators.
Thank you, Yahya.
See you.
I have to leave also.
Yes, I guess so, Noor.
Yes, I have another one. Okay, bye.
Thank you.
Good luck, bye.
Thanks. Okay, so Carmen and Zainab. Hello, are you guys there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, I said if we can just see if we have the same winner, and then the rest we will do afterwards because we don't have enough time. So who's the winning team in your flowcharts?
From my point of view, the winner team is the closing opposition.
Yeah, same here. They actually, their mark was so near to the opening government, but the closing opposition, they are the winner.
I actually, yes, they are very close, but I feel that the closing opposition, the member of opposition was actually below average, but the opposition whip was way above average.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Still,
yeah, I agree too.
Yeah, but still, I feel like since the guy on the opening government did both roles, he kind of bumped up the marks. But I don't know.
Yeah, and he also asked a lot of good point of information.
Exactly.
Not as the other
He
team.
asked a lot of. So since he is good twice. But for the closing opposition, one is very good, but the other one is not so good. So when I added them, they still were less than the opening government. But what do you guys think?
Well, actually, I'm a little bit like I don't know who to choose, but because their score is so near, so I maybe go for the opening government, because as you said, like he was taking the both rules. He did great. He asked a lot of point information that was so useful and in point, and at the same time he did very well in some parts like argumentation and so on.
Exactly.
So maybe I could go. Can I change to opening government?
Carmen, what do you think?
Yeah, in my opinion, he should be like he's so close to the closing position, and he was doing really great when it comes to refutation and argumentation. But I'm not sure about changing the final result.
Okay, then. So what do we? I'm thinking if we add up our scores, will this give us an idea on what to do?
I agree with you in that we need to let him, like, he did a great performance, so he deserves to get the chance to pass. But
so what's the score? What score do you have in the opening government?
Okay, for me, for the opening government, I got 147, and for the closing opposition, I got 147.9. So it's too close.
Okay, wait. So I have 1 point. What do you have in opening government? 147.
40, yeah.
Okay, Carmen, how much do you have?
140.
40?
Yeah.
Okay, 140 and
45, sorry, 45.
Oh, okay. 145. So that would give us, for all of us, 145.5 for the opening government. Now, for the closing opposition, I have 141.3. How much do you have, Zainab?
147.9.
And Carmen?
146.
146 by 3. It's oh God, it's 145. And the opening government is 145.5.
Oh my God.
So even our scores are very, very close, but they still favor the opening government. So what do you think?
Well, you both agree in giving the winner position to the opening government, and I agree that he deserves to win too. So we can give the winner position to the opening government.
And do you agree that we say that he was only 0.5 point over the other ones?
Yeah.
Okay, Zainab, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Like the opening government, I vote for him.
Okay, and do you agree that I say that he was only 0.5 over than the closing opposition?
Yeah, you mean you see you
Just
can
so
see
they know
this
that.
when you're announced. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You can
So
see like too
just so they
close.
know that they were.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's actually very impressive. He did 2 roles and he still managed to get these scores.
Right.
Okay, and for the rest, I think we can do them after we announce the results. Do you guys have other debates?
Yeah, I have another
Yeah.
debate.
Me too.
I think me and Carmen with the same group.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. Then I will wait for you whenever you finish and we can talk about the rest, so we send them the scores to the organizers.
Okay, great.
Yeah, okay.
All right, then I think, yeah, we're done. And I think the IT support can start letting people in.
So ladies, sorry to interrupt, Fatima, sorry.
Anna?
Anna Martin here from the Anna Lindh Foundation. I just want to, did you ask the debaters to come back in after like a little while?
Yes, we said 15 minutes, come back.
Oh, okay, perfect. That great.
Yeah.
Great then.
So we announce the winner and then they go to their next debates.
Exactly, yeah. But I missed the part when you asked them to come back, so I was worried if, you know, perhaps they would not come back. But yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Then I think whoever is responsible for letting people in, they can start letting people in now.
Carmen, the second debate in 10 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, great.
We have 10 minutes left.
Is everybody back or shall we wait for a couple more seconds?
Yes, I think not everybody's back.
Okay, then we'll wait for 1 more minute.
I don't see Salma or Diana.
Sorry, but I'm here. Diana?
Okay, and Salma?
Yes, I will see her. Just a minute.
Okay. You're both here, sorry?
Salma is here now.
She's connected. Okay, so yeah, after Salma is here, I think we're all here.
Okay, we're all here.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, good. Hello again, guys. I want to congratulate you on the quality of the debate. It was really a debate that was very interesting and I enjoyed, sorry for the noise. I enjoyed listening to you and listening to your arguments. And I want to let you know that it was a tough decision to say who's winner. And of course, everybody's a winner because all debaters are winners, and congratulations to everybody for making it thus far. But for the winner and the second rank, we actually had 0.5 as a difference. So it's not much of a difference. The levels were very, very close to each other, which made our decision a little bit tough. I had to make a decision and say who's the winner. And so the first one with first rank or the winner in this debate is the opening government. Congratulations to the one man who did the job of two men.
Thank you.
You did really great. And the second rank, just so you know, is actually the closing opposition with, as I said, only 0.5 difference. And yeah, congratulations to you all. You were all amazing and outstanding, and I can't wait to see you all in the rest of the debates. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
So I think now you can join in if you have other rooms. You can join them because the next debates will start very soon. Good luck.